All right. So yesterday we talked about the High Middle Ages. So what brought on the High Middle Ages? What innovations that I mentioned brought on the High Middle Ages? Why? Give me one of them.
So first, better farming.
Yeah, good job. Good. So farming techniques, right? So better farming, agricultural techniques, which will help solve some of the issues with famine that we see towards the really end of the 800s and moving into the 900s. Good, good. So agricultural techniques. What specifically did we mention yesterday that helped with producing food, solving the issue with this famine? A couple terms. They're pretty basic, pretty simple. Why? Go ahead. A three-field system. Good job. And what was so important about this three-field system? Go ahead.
It rotated crops each year, so the nutrients were getting sucked in.
Yeah, good job. Good job. So if you continue to plant the same crop over and over and over again, chances are your production is going to be a little bit limited the next year, right? You're going to have less and less because you're ridding the soil of its natural nutrients. Good, good. And the yield is going to go down as well. So there's going to be a lot of issues when it comes to growing the same crop. So yeah, the three-field system, rotating crops continuously year in and year out, is obviously a benefit to the production. Good. What else? What else? Alana, go ahead. Yeah, good job. So utilizing the plow and not only just by hand, but using horse, using ox, cattle drawn plows to help really prepare these fields for growth, for planting. And this overall is a benefit to the Middle Ages with the food production. Okay, and this eliminates some of the harsh issues when it came to famine that spread throughout Europe, really by the 800s moving to the 900s. And some reasons why we see famine is because, well, the Frank Kingdom came to somewhat of a divide, right? And with less stability comes more Viking reigns. And this caused some problems and issues to the Frank Kingdom that split up amongst the heirs of Charlemagne. All right, good. Is there any questions on that, guys, about the innovations of the time? And you can see why it transitions to the High Middle Ages. Real plain and simple, it's because of agricultural techniques. It's because of more production of goods and crops for food. All right, and then we have the Crusades. So what are the Crusades all about? Who initiated the Crusades? Chris, go ahead.
Pope Urban II.
Pope Urban II. Good job. Good job. And why did he initiate the Crusades? What was the reason for it? Go ahead, Grandma.
Because he wanted to stop the Muslim advance north.
Awesome. Good job. Good job. So we talked a little bit about it with Charles the Hammer Martel. You remember we mentioned about him? We talked about Charles Martel. Yeah. So the Muslim groups, the Islamic groups, were moving up here to Spain, right? And this was a huge threat to what we know as the Pope and the Catholic Church. Because if this rival religion spreads throughout Europe, that might be, who knows, the end of the Catholic Church. So the Pope recognized that, and he wanted to make sure that he could claim some of these territories back for Christianity and try to establish Christian beliefs, thoughts, and perspectives down in the Middle East, down in the Holy Land of Jerusalem. I don't have the, I'll bring it up on the world map here. Here's where we're talking about. So these pilgrimages, these movements, the Crusades, these soldiers marched all the way down here to what we know as where Israel's located, where Jerusalem's at. That's a far trek, right? A very far trek. Now, what were some of the issues that the Crusaders faced? I talked a little bit about this yesterday. Nick, go ahead. Food, yeah, good job. So especially with the First Crusade, they're still trying to answer a lot of the issues when it came to the famine. This low food supply. And unfortunately, some of these Crusaders had some march and they just keeled over because they didn't have enough food to keep moving on. And eventually this led to some reports of cannibalism with the First Crusade. Pretty sad stuff. Obviously, if that's going on, you have disease, sickness spreading out. And a lot of the Crusaders died even before they got to the fight. I know I mentioned yesterday the First Crusade was somewhat successful. They captured Jerusalem, they captured the Holy City, but that won't last too long. Okay, they don't really establish themselves too strong in that part of the world here. And these Muslim raids, Muslim attacks increased to a point where the Crusaders lost the Holy Land. And then they had to send another crusade, and another, and another. Okay, there were 9 in total, but yesterday I talked specifically just about 4. So you'll read about it today. There's a little bit more. There's a little bit more information about these Crusades, and a little bit more information that I think will really draw your attention to it. But before we get to that, I have a video of the Crusades for you. I think you guys will enjoy it, and it's really detailing about the March of the Crusades, the actual fighting, what other issues and problems that face, just making the trek to the Middle East. By the Fourth Crusade, the Third and Fourth Crusade, they actually sail ships down to the Middle East. Okay, so to try to avoid that long trek, okay, they decided to actually use boats to travel the Mediterranean to Jerusalem. Very similar. It's not very successful because at the time, a lot of these people that are fighting the Crusades are peasants. They have a hard time navigating, a hard time even getting to the location. Low food, low water, and a lot of these crusaders are wearing a lot of thick armor. So you can only imagine the summer months how hot it really gets. A lot of these people just die of it. Heat exhaustion. All right, okay. So I'm going to show you the video here real quick of the Crusades. And then I'll get you working on the assignment, which you should finish up. It's really not hard. It's not difficult. It's just a reading about the Crusades. That's a couple questions. And once you're finished with that, I'd like you to work on your medieval manners. No terms for today, just the bell ringer here.
Water.
What?
Water.
Yeah, all right. Okay.